Hello F1 fans and welcome back to our channel F1 Racing. So fans, we are back again with another exciting video. The world of Formula 1 is in turmoil once again, as Toto Wolff, the mastermind behind Mercedes' dominance in the sport, has spoken out against the current state of F1 cars. In a scathing critique, Wolff slammed the ground effect setup as rubbish and blamed the F1 regulations for the lackluster racing we've seen recently. The Austrian entrepreneur's comments come in the wake of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which he described as boring following Sergio Perez's victory. With Wolff's influence and reputation in the sport, his words are sure to have a ripple effect on the future of F1. So what does the future hold for the sport we all know and love? Let's dive deeper into the controversial remarks made by Toto Wolff and their potential impact on the world of Formula 1. Now, let's start our video. So before we discuss anything else, let's quickly see the performances and results of the Baku race this season. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix of Formula 1 in 2023 was dominated by the Red Bull duo of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, with Perez coming out on top to become the first driver in the history of the race to win it more than once. This achievement helped Perez make history. Perez was able to take advantage of the use of the safety car by making a pit stop for fresh tyres and then taking the lead in the race. The race was close between Verstappen, Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso, who ultimately ended in 4th place. Red Bull's supremacy over every other team competing in Formula 1 during this season was on full display at the race. Perez's victory was his second of the year, while Verstappen has taken first place in the other two events, and Perez is only 6 points behind Verstappen in the standings for the season. Perez's victory was his second of the year, however despite the race's excitement, some people found it boring, including Toto Wolff. This was due to the fact that the Red Bull continued to dominate the competition. The race also witnessed a near-miss disaster that put the safety procedures of Formula 1 and FIA under scrutiny. During the race, some photographers, crew members and safety officials went to the pit lane to see the podium finishers park their cars before the awards ceremony. Alpine's Esteban Ocon approached the area at high speed. He narrowly avoided hitting them, and the FIA opened an investigation into the incident, calling the responsible FIA personnel into the steward's office. The stewards ordered the FIA to revise its regulations in advance of the next race in Miami to ensure that such a situation does not occur again. In conclusion, the 2023 Azerbaijan Grand Prix was an eventful race that saw Red Bull dominate the field and Perez make history by winning the race more than once. The near-miss disaster during the race highlighted the importance of conducting routine assessments and audits of the safety protocols in place to protect the health and safety of everyone involved in the sport. But if the dominance of one team makes a sport boring, then some of us might disagree with this statement. So why did Toto Wolff now call it boring? Do you think that too? Let us know in the comments while we keep on discussing what he said and why. Following the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff referred to the current Formula 1 car and their ground effect setup as rubbish. He also said that the cars should be changed. The new regulations that were implemented in 2022 were supposed to make things more exciting for fans, but instead, the exact reverse has happened, with Red Bull completely dominating the championship. The first 4 races of 2023 have been swept cleanly by Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, respectively. Wolff is of the option that ground effect cars are not beneficial, and he has stated, generally ground effect cars are rubbish cars, it is just who has the least rubbish is ahead. Because of the new regulations, the vehicles are now lower to the ground and broader, and they have underbody tunnels that generate additional downforce to enable them to follow cars in front of them more closely. On the other hand, this resulted in issues with porpoising, which were particularly problematic for Mercedes. Wolff believes that he wants to beat Red Bull using the rules that are now in place and does not want to see any major rule changes made, despite the fact that he has negative opinions about the vehicles. He went on to say that we either have to do a better job, all of us together, to catch them or change regulations, and I don't think we should be doing the second one. We just need to win on merit, and that means being more clever than Red Bull. The comments made by Wolff came after a boring Azerbaijan Grand Prix in which drivers struggled to pass one another despite the fact that the main straight was 2.2 kilometers long. However, the head of Mercedes believes that Formula One should not reevaluate the path that it is currently taking with regard to the design of its race cars. He stated, "I think after a race weekend like this, we mustn't talk it down overall and say that is the wrong decision and we need to change completely. It is more about understanding why it wasn't interesting and revisiting it, and you have two vehicles that are floating off into the sunset based on their merit, then there's a 22-second gap." Now, to remind you, what was the issue of porpoising drivers and teams were facing previously? Let us explain that. Formula One started implementing a new set of regulations in 2022 with the intention of making the races more competitive and thrilling. Instead of depending on the airflow over the top of the car to create downforce, one of the most significant shifts was the adoption of the so-called ground effect theory, which entails using the airflow under the automobile rather than the airflow over the top of the car to create downforce. This strategy is intended to lessen the turbulence in the air caused by the movement of vehicles, making it simpler for drivers to stay close to one another and attempt to pass one another. On the other hand, the ground effect design resulted in a new issue referred to as porpoising. When a vehicle is traveling at high speed, an aerodynamic phenomenon known as porpoising can occur, in which the floor of the vehicle violently bobs up and down. This occurs when the vehicle comes too close to the track surface, which causes the airflow to get stagnant and results in a loss of downforce. The car will then be sucked below, causing a violent bouncing action that is comparable to that of a porpoise or dolphin swimming along the surface of the water. This will continue until the flow of air kicks in again, at which point the car will leap upwards once more. Because it makes it easier for drivers to lose control of their vehicles, particularly when turning at high speeds, porpoising is a problem that should be avoided at all costs. Lewis Hamilton reported that there were moments during the early part of the 2022 season in which he came dangerously close to losing control of his Mercedes, which suffered from porpoising to a greater extent than any other team on the grid. The difficulty with Mercedes' car was that it was designed to run as low to the ground as possible, and the team did not realize the problems that would cause until it was too late to do anything about it. The International Automobile Federation updated the rulebook for the 2023 season in order to address the porpoising problem by increasing the minimum height of every car's floor edge by 15 millimeters. After receiving feedback from drivers indicating that the severe bouncing posed a safety risk, this aspect of the ride was altered. Increasing the ride height of a vehicle, on the other hand, causes it to generate less downforce, which might cause it to move more slowly and make it less competitive. In the grand scheme of things, porpoising is a good illustration of the trade-offs that occur in Formula One between speed, safety, and competitiveness. The implementation of ground effect design was an essential step that had to be taken in order to make the races more thrilling, yet this led to the emergence of a new challenge that needed to be addressed. F1 teams will need to find new ways to generate downforce and balance speed and safety with the amended rulebook for the 2023 season. Some F1 teams still say they are confronting a little bit of this difficulty again, despite the rules being revised for the 2023 season. So we hope that it has given you a good understanding of the issue Mercedes is still worried about, and it might have affected their performance this season. So let's have a look at Mercedes' performance this season so far. As we know, Mercedes was not able to win a race this year and was able to score only one podium finish this season. George Russell looks more like he is struggling and having a bit of a hard luck this year, while Lewis Hamilton is trying his best but considers car issues as a hurdle. But Toto Wolff's expectations for Lewis Hamilton's performance in the ongoing and upcoming Formula One season are good. Toto Wolff is the team principal for Mercedes, the team Lewis Hamilton has been driving for since 2013. Hamilton has been with Mercedes since 2013. Hamilton now holds a record for the most Formula One World Championships won by a driver with 7, and he's working towards achieving his 8th title in the hopes of breaking the record for the most F1 titles held by a driver. However, in recent seasons, the team has had difficulty with the performance of their W14 car, which they use for racing. The club has not been able to create the anticipated recovery, despite having some success in the latter part of the previous season. Mercedes has acknowledged that they need to alter the concept of the car in order to be able to fight for wins with Red Bull and Ferrari. During the pre-season testing, Lewis Hamilton had some reservations about his team regarding the car's design, but the team did not consider his feedback. As a direct consequence of this, the team's technical leadership went through a transition, with Mike Elliott and James Allison exchanging roles to obtain better outcomes. Toto Wolff feels that Lewis Hamilton is still highly determined to succeed with the team despite the challenges the team is now facing. After winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in 2021, Hamilton has not been victorious in a race since then. In 2022, Hamilton finished on the podium just 9 times, and so far in 2023, he has only done so once at the Australian Grand Prix. On the other hand, Wolff is certain that Hamilton's doggedness will pay off in the end, assuming that they can supply him with a car capable of competing for the championship. Wolff observes that Hamilton is driven to win his 8th World Championship title and that the team's collaborative dynamic is at a really good place. Given their recent struggles, Wolff is certain that Hamilton will maintain their drive to be successful despite the setbacks they have experienced. In a nutshell, the recent statement made by Wolff indicates that he has high hopes for Lewis Hamilton's performance in this Formula One season. In spite of the difficulties faced by the team, Wolff is optimistic that Hamilton's persistent determination will pay off if they are able to give him a car that is capable of challenging for the championship. So fans, to conclude our today's video, we would like to say that the Baku race was a thrilling and exciting event for Formula One fans, with unexpected outcomes and plenty of drama. However, Toto Wolff, the team principal of Mercedes, considers the race to be boring, which raises concerns about the current state of Formula One. Wolff has criticised the current cars and regulations of F1, which he believes have made the sport less exciting for fans. One issue he talked about was the porpoising problem, which occurs when the front wing of the car makes contact with the ground, causing the car to bounce up and down. This problem has led to slower lap times and less exciting racing. Moreover, the poor performance of Mercedes this season has added to the challenges faced by Wolff and his team. Despite Lewis Hamilton's persistent efforts, the team has struggled to keep up with the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari. However, Wolff remains hopeful that Hamilton's ambition to win his 8th F1 world title with Mercedes will become a reality. To achieve this goal, Mercedes will need to overcome their technical challenges and improve their car and performance on the track. As we know, the change in technical leadership with Mike Elliott and James Allison swapping places might enable them to achieve better results. But with the ongoing criticism of F1's rules and regulations, it remains to be seen how the sport will evolve in the future. So guys, while the Baku race may have been thrilling for some, it has also highlighted some of the problems facing F1. Toto Wolff's criticism of the cars and rules reflects a broader concern about the direction of the sport, and the poor performance of Mercedes this season only adds to the challenges faced by teams. Nevertheless, with Hamilton's determination and the talent of the Mercedes team, there is still hope for success in the future. But Red Bull is not going anywhere from their dominant position for now. So that's all from today's video. If you've liked this video, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow F1 fans, and also make sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates and news from the world of Formula One. So we will be back soon with another exciting video. Till then, take care and bye bye.